Natural hair doesn't grow, or so they say. Let's talk about it. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Halicia, but I go by Lee, and I make tons of content on natural hair, travel, beauty, lifestyle, fashion. So if that's your vibe, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Just take a deep dive back. Take a scroll back. I have been on YouTube for literally over a decade at this point, and I started my channel with my natural hair journey. I want to say I cut my hair in maybe like 2010. I can't even tell you the actual start date because it's been that long, but at the time natural hair was not a thing. And I'm saying this because it really wasn't. Even though hair grows from our head naturally, hair grows from our body naturally. We don't have to do anything to get it to grow. However, I grew up in an era where our naturally textured hair was not considered tamed, presentable, honed, really and truly acceptable, especially not at the texture of my hair. My hair is considered nappy, which I've come to terms with, and I'm okay with that term. I do not view that term in a negative manner at all. So when I initially cut off my hair, I did it actually because my sister had just done it, and mind you, although I have sisters, we do not have the same hair texture. So the hair texture that is considered good hair, especially for black hair, natural hair, is typically your curly ringlet hair. You know, the hair that is synonymous with mixed chicks. But my hair is not like that. My hair resembles wool or cotton. It's a extremely kinky texture, and although it's soft to the touch, it just doesn't have continuous patterns that would be considered aesthetic. I have afro, kinky, nappy hair, and by all means, let me just say this, I love it. I love my hair. There is not a thing that I would change about my hair. So I didn't necessarily realize that it would cause so much confusion when I cut off my hair. Now, I was a girl that had longer hair. I guess you could say it when it comes to black hair, but my hair has been relaxed since I was 5. Being in my early 20s and shaving my head came as almost like a culture shock, to be honest with you. Not just for me, but even for the people around me. The people around me called me names like Booger Wolf. And these are older black people, specifically women, but men did the same thing also. And we're talking about people that love me, that cared about me. I was told that I was going through a crisis. I was even called like a dyke, a bulldagger, like, are you gay now? Is your sexuality changed? And at the time, I was just confused as to why I got so much of a negative response for cutting off my hair. And mine was a bit traumatic. And I really had to reconsider essentially who I was. Like, there was an identity shift because my sexuality nothing about me had changed other than the fact that I wanted to remove the perm hair or the relaxed hair so that I could just wear my hair in its natural state. Needless to say, things didn't happen that way, and the journey was not that easy at all. So I'm here to tell you, in 2024, after I have been natural now for at least a good 12 years, give or take, it's probably even been more, 10 things that you might be doing wrong to your natural hair. 10 things that could be preventing your hair from reaching its maximum potential. 10 things that can make your life easier. 10 things that can make this process a bit more seamless. 10 things that will actually encourage healthy hair and growth. And I'm only sharing these things from experience. This is not from a scientific or a hairdresser or a licensed cosmetologist point of view. Although some of these things I have learned from licensed professionals just telling me, I'm telling you that this is primarily from my personal experience, and I know that it can be a journey, it can be a process. And the main reason that I've heard people revert back to relaxed hair or just not want to wear their natural hair out is because of the feedback. It's because of the way that it looked. It's because they think it doesn't grow. It's because it's in an unhealthy state, and I think it is because of the lack of knowledge or just the influx of information that we have received that has been wrong, because we were all in basically this trial and error process. So let's just get into it. Number one, cleanse your hair regularly. And what I mean by regularly, depending on the porosity of your hair, whether it's low or high, I can do a whole video on porosity, so just let me know in the comments below. But I'm not gonna dive into porosity too much, because I do feel like that gets into more of like the scientific side. I feel like when I started my journey, people were like, you don't need to shampoo your hair that much. Even with the term wash and shampoo, that's a whole thing. The thing is no, we do not cleanse our hair as often as people with straight hair. We still need it cleansed regularly. And so for me, just personally, I like to cleanse my hair about every 7 to 10 days, unless it's in a protective style or like braids or something like that. But when my hair is out, when it is exposed to the elements, it should be cleansed every 10 days and at the max. And that has been game changing for me. My hair used to feel kind of like dry, brittle, and it was because of product buildup. It actually was not because it was not moisturized. I thought that it was not moisturized, and so I was just adding more product to it constantly, just oil, butter, this, that, whatever, because I was like, oh, it just needs more, when in actuality it needed to breathe. And it was never actually getting the opportunity to breathe or even to benefit from the products that I was putting on it, because it was dirty. There was tons and tons of buildup on my scalp, on the strands of my hair. And so essentially I was having the reverse reaction, just because my hair was not clean. Stop listening to people when they tell you it's okay. It's okay occasionally, but on a regular basis, you should be cleansing your hair regularly. Number two, double cleanse. Now this one is gonna come as a shocker, but I feel like after Sacred launched their brand and they did so much marketing around the cleansing products, that to me was like the clarification that I needed. To me, it was like the seal, the stamp of approval that you've been doing this right. So what I actually recently started doing, now this, I really didn't figure this out until about the past year. I noticed a major change in my hair, and in the growth of my hair, and in the health of my hair, and in the state of my hair, and even in my ability to maintain styles like twist outs, braid outs for a longer period of time. I was double cleansing my hair, and I still do it to this day, meaning that I start off with a clarifying shampoo, something that's going to detox the hair. It doesn't have to be like a full strip, but it definitely needs to be something that is going to remove the product. The best example that I could give you is my skin. On a daily basis, especially when I wear makeup, my first layer of cleansing is just to remove the makeup. So the same thing for your hair. That first cleanse is just to get the product off. It's the same process as I would do to my face. I'm gonna do it to my hair. And then the second cleanse when I wash my face is really to break down those oils and actually cleanse my skin. So the same thing with the hair. That second cleanse, I typically go with a hydrating shampoo. So I'm using two different shampoos. One of them is going to be more of a clarifying shampoo, and the second one will be a hydrating shampoo. They are both cleansing, but in different ways. One of them is literally just there to remove the dirt, the dust, the buildup, and then the other one is there to cleanse. But because clarifying shampoos tend to be kind of harsh on the hair, and I totally get almost stripping, that hydrating shampoo is going to still be moisturizing while it's cleansing. And I do the same thing for my face. Typically I'll use an oil based cleanser on my face, and then I'll go on with a gel or a cream based cleanser. Especially a cream based cleanser is typically much more hydrating, because I've literally just removed it. Cleanse regularly and then double cleanse when you cleanse. And I know that that is a lot. It's like cleanse, 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 cleanse. But I'm telling you, it made the world of a difference. I even have a video from last year where my hair was like up to here. And recently I did a natural hair campaign and I was like, when did my hair get that long? And I started to retrace, what have I been doing differently? It seemed like the process had pretty much been the same, and for the most part it had, but in reality it hadn't. I was adding a little bit, and what that did for my hair was it allowed the products to be productive. So it basically was like a blank canvas. So whatever the product said that they were going to do, they were actually doing it because they were starting off with a blank canvas. Think of a painting. You would not paint on a painting that was full of oil and dust and dirt. Number 3, and this one was huge back in the day. It was leaving conditioner on too long. We would sleep in conditioner, walk around with a shower cap on our head. Most conditioners, I just took a second one day and I was like, what do the directions say? Have we ever actually read the directions on the bottles of these products? When I started reading the directions on most of the products that I own, the conditioners said 10, 15, 20 minutes. None of them said 2 days, 2 hours, none. Even the deep conditioners were not saying that long. They were saying 30 minutes. So why would I exceed the time limit that the directions gave me? They're telling me how much time is going to take for this product to be effective. Why am I sleeping in conditioner? What was happening was I was creating so many scalp issues that it was unreal. You're just letting moisture just sit on the hair. Rinse those conditioners out. Use the time limit that whatever the packaging says, and then remove it from your hair. My wash day went from like a day to a couple of hours, and that is actually what it should be. It should not take so long to go through such a simple process. It doesn't take you that long to shower, to get dressed. Why should it take that long to cleanse your hair, condition your hair, style your hair? And what's even crazier is these steps didn't even cut my wash day in half. They also made my hair much, much, much more manageable, because I think that my hair wasn't weighed down with so much product. Number 4, less is more. You guys have seen it. So many product videos, so many hair tutorials where we just taking a bottle and we just squeezing, taking your hand and scooping out big globs of product. Use less. A dime size amount is actually truly enough product. I used to think my hair is so thick, it's so full, it just needs more. It did not. There was one time, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, I did my hair and I didn't have a lot of product left. This actually just came about on accident. I only had a couple of corners of the products that I needed, right? But I was like, I'm not wasting this product. I'm not throwing it in the trash. I'm using it. And that's what I did. And I don't really like to mix a whole lot of products together. Like if I have this conditioner and I'm gonna finish this conditioner, I'm just gonna finish that conditioner, but I'm not gonna mix it with another conditioner. You know, I don't do the whole product cocktails anymore because I'm nervous about the effects that they can have, because I really don't know how well chemicals mix together, what should be mixed together, what shouldn't be mixed together. So I just don't play with it anymore, especially if I'm going to put it directly on my hair. If it's gonna go on weave or something like that, I don't care. But for me personally, because I care about the health of my hair. So I didn't have a lot of product left, so I just used whatever I had left, made it work, spread it out, worked it in, and I got some of the best results. Like, I was like, okay, hair flowy, bouncy, scalp not itching, there's no flakes, nothing. It dried in a reasonable amount of time. Why? Because I actually use the amount of product that my hair needed versus overloading it with product, thinking that more product is better or that more product is going to be more effective. It's just unnecessary, and I know that we just do it out of habit. We're not even thinking about it. It's because we actually see other people do this so often that we just assume that it's correct, and our brain just naturally flows into this habit because you see it or you haven't done it differently. And so then we repeat these same mistakes, and it is absolutely unnecessary. And I do think that over time can be harmful, especially when you're not cleansing, double cleansing. It's also just a waste because it doesn't really serve a purpose, at least not a purpose that's positive for you. Number 5 is gonna take y'all out. I specifically put this one in the middle of the video because it's actually something that I recently learned. I saw this on somebody's TikTok video. I don't know, the TikTok guys were in my favor that day, and I knew that I was about to take my braids out, and I actually saw this from a licensed cosmetologist, and she was black, and she said heat is okay, there's nothing wrong with applying heat on your hair, and that we need to stop air drying our hair. And something in me just triggered, like, what do you mean? And she kept on going, like, basically air drying our hair could actually be harmful, it could cause breakage, and that we should just go ahead and use some type of external heat source to dry our hair, that we shouldn't be leaving our hair wet for so long. So whether it's a dryer, a blow dryer, whatever the case may be, heat dry your hair. Game changer. I cannot tell you, I haven't invested in a hooded dryer yet, but I am on the way. I keep searching for one, and I'm so tempted to buy one, but I have a dryer attachment that I've used for years that just attaches to a regular blow dryer, and I just use that now to dry my hair, and I guarantee you she has told no lies. I started doing this maybe about 6 months ago. I noticed that my hair wasn't shedding as much, that I was retaining much more length, that it was easier to detangle, and it was lighter. It just seemed lighter and healthier, and also my styles were lasting longer. Like, I can do a style and wear that style really and truly however long I want to based on these steps, but it doesn't seem like dry or brittle, and I'm not reapplying more product. What I think that heat drying actually allows the product to do is to settle into the hair and lock in, but I think that it also kind of helps your hair from other health issues because it's not sitting in moisture. I guess the only thing that I could really think of that related to this is like sitting in wet clothes or wet underwear, like soiled, because it soils. And so in my head I was like, what if I was actually soiling my hair by allowing it to sit in this moisture, thinking that it's air drying. And then with the whole air drying thing, there would always be an issue. The next morning you wake up, the pillow wet, everything else has been wet, so now you got moisture that has seeped into your linens, and my hair is still wet. It's 12 hours later and my hair is still wet, when I could have sat under this dryer for an hour, went to bed with my hair dry, woken up with my hair dry, take down my hair and it's dry. Make this your goal. Start using heat of some form. It doesn't even have to be hot, because I be having that dry on low. And stop air drying your hair. Then come back in about 3 months and check in with me and let me know how it's going, because I already know what I'm telling you for a fact made improvements on my natural hair. For a fact. Let's just do a little check-in. Where we at? Okay, it's the back of my hair. Let me just pull a piece from the front. Front. This might be like front middle, but she's doing well. Anyways, number 6, get that trim. Get a trim. This has been something that I've been preaching for years now, but I still feel like it's taboo around getting a trim, and I don't really know why, but people are so caught up on, I don't want to get my hair cut, I don't want them to cut off my hair. Baby, you need that trim or you're going to be bald headed, because what happens to our hair is textured. It is not straight. It is prone to breakage because it wraps around things. So just imagine like a spring. If you have a spring versus a straight piece of wire, which one is likely going to get tangled? Which one is likely going to cause a bit more chaos? Which one is likely to have more problems? It's going to be that spring, because it creates some type of a coil. It has a pattern to it. So what happens is our ends break. Our hair is fragile, it's delicate, because it's already patterned. It already has shape to it. And when our ends break or split, they continue to move up the shaft of the hair. So by not cutting them off, you're preventing length retention. And it feels like your hair isn't growing, but in reality your hair is growing, but it's breaking at the same time, or even quicker than it's growing. And so by the time you get your ends cut, you're like, dang, I had less than what I started with. But it's only because of the maintenance that you refuse to put into your hair. If you get your ends trimmed or dusted regularly, then you don't have to worry about that issue, because the length that you grow, or as your hair grows, you're retaining more of that length. I'm telling you right now, and I need a trim at this point in my hair. Listen, let me tell you something. I know for a fact my hair is healthy, but I can tell based on even the way that my ends feel, and I just pulled off a piece of hair, that it's getting close to me time to just get a little trim. A trim will probably be about 1/2 inch, give or take. And I only get trims maybe about every 3 to 6 months. I really just kind of gauge it based on my hair, but I do try to definitely make sure that I'm getting my hair trimmed or I'm dusting my ends myself. I've retained so much more length. In about the last year, I've retained probably about 4 inches of hair. So I'm getting closer and closer to my hair goals, babe. Closer to my dream. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is another one that's gonna be controversial, but stop letting everybody play in your hair. Y'all wanna go to 99 different stylists. Y'all want to let people test and do styles on your hair. You want to see somebody on Instagram and say, or on any social media website, like, oh, let me let them do my hair. Oh, let me book an appointment with them. If you have a stylist or stylists that you like, that you trust, that have done well in the past, stick with them, because you're doing too much moving around in the city. You literally playing with your life at this point. You're putting yourself at risk of something detrimental happening and possibly ruining all of your hair goals, dreams. I just got my hair done.
If Jesus decided to come back today, I wouldn't be mad. That's why I hate getting my hair done. I should just got braids. How can I fix it? How can I fix it? Oh, be a black woman, they said. I'm gonna fix it. Do I just wear confidence or?
Stop playing with these people. Not to say the stylists are bad, but every stylist does not care about hair health, and every stylist is not actually familiar with certain hair types, textures. And yeah, they might tell you, yeah, girl, I could do it. I got you. Oh yeah, that's no problem. It's because they want to play. Like, they want to test, they want to trial, and they figure that their license, if they did it to somebody else, they could do it to you. It'll be fine. But that's not always the case. So stick to the people that you know. And if you have to try somebody new, like if it's just not an option, like for me, when I initially went natural, I had one person, one stylist that did my hair. At this time, I was not wearing braids. This is what really pivoted me into braids, honestly. But I had one person that did my hair. She would do my cut, my color, my natural hair styling, and my silk presses. So anytime I went and got my hair done, she did my hair. And there's history of us on my channel. She moved away at one point in time and was gone for 9 years. She would actually come back to Houston occasionally and do hair. And so for like 3, maybe it was like 4 or 5 years, she went back and forth, like from the city that she lived in or the state that she lived in to Houston, and she would do hair once a month. And I would go to her when she would come to Houston. And then that stopped altogether, and she just got a salon in the city where she was. And I didn't have a choice. I had to branch out because who else was gonna do my hair? But I'm gonna tell you, the first thing that I did was I said, hey, do you know any other stylists? Like, do you know anybody that you think would be able to handle my hair, that you would recommend for me? And she did. And then I went to that person. You know what I mean? So, and now she's back. So I'm about to start going back to her. Even though I don't have dreams of getting a silk press again, it's just that she can still do my natural hair. So stick to the same stylist. If you can, stick with your people, okay? If they've done you well so far, continue that journey, thug it out with them, because you're just taking a risk. You risking it all and you don't even have to. Number 8, throw away this whole texture category facade. Type 1, type 2, A, B, C, D, 4C, 5A, 7-Eleven. Just throw it away. Number 1, our hair is different textures all over. There is not one person that has the same hair texture throughout their head. I got a little, I used to call it like a Rico Suave patch in the back, you know? And it's like this small patch of my hair that actually creates ringlets. That's the only part of my hair that curls like that. I have my entire middle section, it's like coarser and it grows faster, but it still has somewhat of a pattern. Then I got this front section that's just straight. It's always just been straight. And then I have my sides that are like, some of it is straight and then the ends curl a little bit. It's like kind of stringy. It's a little weird. But the point is that it's different all over. Not just the density, but the curl pattern. Every single part of my hair works differently. So when people would ask like, oh, what's your hair type? I would just be like somewhere in the type 4 range, because it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like it's everything. Like and parts of my hair would be considered type 3. So it's like, how do you put yourself in a category that doesn't really fit? Like I don't fit into just one category. I fit into like 6 of them. So let's just throw it away, because honestly it doesn't really matter. I think that what matters more is the porosity of your hair, whether you have high, regular, or low, or high, medium, low, whatever that is, and the density of your hair, and also the climate that you live in. Nobody ever talks about the weather and how that affects your hair. That is the most important thing. So I feel like throw it all away. Stop categorizing your hair and just focus on you as an individual, because your hair is unique. It's just you. You're the only person in that category. Okay, there's no other person that has hair like you. So categorizing these things does nothing. Not gonna help you. In fact, it's probably gonna harm you even more, because you're gonna follow the directions of that hair type and then they're not gonna work for you. Number 9, I know I talked about going to sleep with wet hair, like air drying your hair. But what you're also gonna stop doing, I would highly recommend you not do this anymore, is styling your hair while wet. Now this one, a stylist told me, what happens when we wet our hair? It typically lays down, it typically stretches out, it's heavy at this point, right? So at this point when the hair is wet, it's easy to put it in a bun or put it in a ponytail, but think about like you slicking your hair back in a ponytail when it's wet. Prior to this, that would be I could only put my hair in a ponytail 2 ways. It either had to be soaking wet, or, and I mean dripping wet. I'm talking about wet to the point where I could wring it out like a towel and there would be a puddle on the floor. Or it had to be straight, like blow dry to flat iron straight. Those were the only 2 ways that I could put my hair into any type of ponytail or bun. So I wanted to be like the other little girlies that could do the little cute little slick back bun, because you know, I thought, why not me? Listen, I learned real quick, everything is not for everybody. So one day, soaking wet in the shower, I slicked the thing back, put globs gel on it, slicked it back, put it in a ponytail. I had a little low ponytail with a little puff in the back, and it was cute, okay? Cute. Went on about my day. It dried a little. In about 2-3 hours in, I was like, dang, my head is killing me. And I'm talking about migraine status. Like I need to lay down and take a nap, killing me. Pass out, killing me. I was in pain. And what was happening is that as my hair was drying, and I was outside that day, okay, it was doing what all natural hair does. It was expanding. So I had wrapped up all this hair in like this tight little ponytail, and inside that ponytail it was doing this, but it didn't have space. So what it was doing was it was pulling on all of the edges and the exterior of my hair, because my hair was expanding as it dried, but it had no space to go anywhere. I remember getting home, taking my hair out of that ponytail, and it was like an explosion of just pressure release. Craziest thing. I never did this again in my life. And I remember her telling me never to style my hair in that manner, like ponytails or anything like that, while it was wet, because it was definitely going to expand. Nothing that is just restricting on your hair. Now this tip is going to depend on your hair texture, and it's also going to depend on the density of your hair. For example, if your hair is super fine or super thin, it's not going to expand that much. You ain't got to worry about this. But if you are a thick hair girly, you know, if you got volume, if you got density, if you got a lot of stuff going on, don't do it. And then the last tip that I have for you guys, the very, very last tip that we all do wrong. I do it wrong, you do it wrong. We all are victims of this, not being patient. We have to be patient. You have to give it time. And when I say time, I'm talking years. When I wrote this list, okay, I was relaxed, so it's not TMI. I was relaxing and I was thinking about mothers with a new baby. So I'm gonna basically compare your hair to being a new mom. Let's just say you're a first time mom, new mom, you get this baby. When you have this baby, those first probably 3 months are like the roughest months, right? Because you don't know what's going on. You don't know exactly what your baby needs, and your baby cannot effectively communicate with you. So you're basically going through all these trial and error process. You're trying to figure out what cry means what. Like, does this cry mean you're hungry? Does this cry mean you're sleepy? Does this cry mean, you know, you need your diaper changed? Like, what do all of these kind of sounds and like movements and facial expressions mean? And then once the baby turns about a year or so, you feel like you've developed somewhat of a routine with the baby. You're much more comfortable. The baby can communicate a little bit more, much more aware. Like you know, you're getting into the habit, like you're feeling good about it. Same thing with your hair. Your hair is a growing organ, I think it's an organ at least, that cannot communicate with you. So when you first enter that relationship, everybody's confused, everybody's in shock, and so you have to figure out what things mean. When your hair does this, what does this mean? When your hair does this, what did you do wrong, or what have you done differently? And you guys have to work together on a routine. I hear so many people say, I tried that style, and I tried to twist out, and I tried to braid out, and I hated it, and I don't like it, and I did it 3 times and it didn't work none of the times. If you had a baby, how many times did it take for you to figure out which formula that baby needed? How many times did you have to breastfeed that baby? Like, what would make you think that working with something for 2 months, 3 months is gonna develop some type of routine that's actually effective? You have to give it time. And I just think that that could be a bit of an extreme example, but I feel like it's a great comparison because you are working with something that is living and that grows, but that cannot communicate with you. At least not in the traditional sense of communication. Your hair is not gonna tell you, girl, I don't like that. But in a sense, it will notify you, I don't like that. And so giving it time and just being patient and working with it, you'll have some success stories. I promise you, if you are starting off on this journey, or if you're just even like starting off wearing your hair, or even just considering wearing your hair out, because I know it is a bit controversial. Like, it's not necessarily the most popular thing to do. The internet in general is just saturated with a bunch of information, and not a lot of it is accurate, or a lot of it is just people sharing their trials and errors. And so it's like, you just like trial and error, which is great. You should do trial and error, but I think that you should be smart about it, be sensible, be knowledgeable about it, and enter it with the mindset that this is going to take time. And I mean real time, okay? Not 21 days. They be telling you it takes 21 days to build a habit. Your hair is not it's not the same. People have told me your hair does what you tell it to do. No, baby. I do what my hair told me to do. I do what I learned to do. I stopped watching what other people would say to do to my hair, especially if they had never touched my hair, if you ain't never seen my hair, if you ain't never been around my hair, if you've never dealt with my hair. I'm not listening to nothing that you have to say, because you don't know. I started to listen to my stylist, my hair. Like, literally, I would pay attention to what was different about my hair, and then I would not do that, or I would repeat the action because there was a reward for the action. So just moving forward, be patient. Give yourself at least a year with your hair out, and I'm talking about out every day, before you give up on your hair. So I hope that this helps. we're going to end this video with the fact that natural hair does grow. And if you're interested in a porosity video, because I would just love to break that down, like, ooh, if y'all tell me that, I'm going to do real research, okay? And I'm going to back up everything that I give to you guys so that it makes the most sense. Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today's video. I love you guys. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.